Good morning. My name is Baseem, which, as I said last time, means smiling face. Welcome back to the Kasbah Munn. Our adventure again takes us to the world beyond COVID virus, a world where the women are allowed out of their family home or compound only with a male escort from their same family. And as I said last time, Middle Eastern dance varies throughout this part of the world. Each region and each tribe has its own distinct style and its own distinct costuming. And it's for all sizes and shapes of women. I have one friend who said she was embarrassed by the fact that some of the women in our dance troupe were big. Well, women all over the world, some of them are big, some of them are small. But this is for everyone. And belly dancing in Egypt, by the way, is called rock sharki. And literally that means Eastern or Oriental dancing. And it's a style of dance most familiar to Westerners, where the women wear all the spangles and the slits and the high heels. And that's what has developed there. Mostly danced by women, but sometimes by men. And the dancers, though, do usually have a bare midriff, but Egyptian law forbids it from being totally bare, so they use a stocking-like material to cover the midriff. Now, rock sharki developed from something called rock ballady, and that means local dancing or folk dancing, and it's danced socially by men and women all throughout the region. And it's a social dance where ordinary people dance with just their ordinary clothing. And they don't have any kind of a special dance costume for this. And the dances could be described most likely as belly dancing in this part of the world. And it's done by men, women, and children, of course. Now remember, Western dance focuses on your knees and your feet, while Middle Eastern dancing focuses on your hips and the isolation that your body does to accentuate the female torso. For today, I'm going to review the steps that we learned the first time, but as we go along, I'll add a few new isolations and moves that depend on your feet and legs, because we're going to be traveling. Last time also, I was asked about foot gear. Now, I do not go barefoot. As you can see, I'm on a little dance shoe, a little flat shoe. Some dancers, especially in Lebanon, women are in all those spangles, and they are in very high heels, which the men there really like, and they do all those wonderful back bends where their hair is touching the floor, which we are not going to do today, so don't worry about that one. But our teacher always taught us, wear shoes. It doesn't matter almost what kind, because if you're dancing on a stage, you don't know if there are little glass beads that have fallen off someone's costume, and those glass beads really do hurt if you cut your feet. And if you're in a restaurant dancing, who knows whether or not there's mashed potato on the floor, and you don't really want your toes squishing through that. So, wear shoes. Unless you're home, you know it's your floor, and you want to dance barefoot, that's just fine. With our dance troupe, 8 of us, 2 years in a row, went out to Salt Lake City. They had a wonderful belly dancing extravaganza weekend. Best way to put that. And they had vendors, we could buy clothes, we could buy accessories, we could buy music, all kinds of stuff. Most importantly, we could take lessons from teachers who rarely came to the East Coast, and it was a blast. Well, we could also dance. It was a hot August weekend. We were dancing on the stage, and one of my friends just always went barefoot. Big mistake that day. She burned both of her feet so badly on that hot stage that she couldn't dance the rest of the day. We had to get her medical attention. So, wear shoes. Now, we're going to begin, as we did before, with the posture. So, stand up. And put on your hip scarf if you're going to be playing along, and dancing along, and learning along. Now, is the music at a level where you can still hear me speaking, just to give me some feedback here? Is it okay? It's a big thumbs up. Okay, good. All right. Now, remember, what we're going to do is we're going to have nice posture. We're going to be standing straight. We're going to have our tush under our hips. Our feet are going to be about hips width apart. Shoulders are back, shoulders are down. You're going to have your chin up, and you're going to be smiling because you're having a great time. And what we're going to do first is the hip lift. Remember that one? Where you're going to straighten your knee, and that's going to take your hip straight up. Remember that one? Your foot is staying firmly on the floor, but you're straightening your leg. Then try it on the other side. That's the way. Your torso is in. You're sucking in. Great work for the core. And remember, if you get bored of pumping gas, you can do this while you're at the pump. Just have everybody else wonder what the heck you're doing, but you'll be getting some good exercise. Now, opposite of a hip lift, of course, is a hip drop. So you're going to have your knee bent straight, and then you're going to bend it. And your hip is going to go down. So bend that right knee. Now bend the left knee. And then hip drops. Now somebody might say, okay, if I'm doing a hip lift, of course I have to drop it. And if I'm doing a hip drop, of course I have to lift it. The difference is where you start. If you're doing a lift, you're starting in neutral on all of these. You go up. If you're doing a drop, you're going down. So you're starting where your belt line is. And that's how you determine whether it's a lift or a drop. Lift or a drop. Since I can't see you dancing, I hope you are. Do those moves. Up and down. Up and down. All right. Now, the next thing we did last time was the large hip circle. And we went out to the right, and this is just moving your hips. Hips out to the right, around to the front, to the left, and to the back. Around to the right, and the front, the side, and the back. And this is extending larger than you would normally with a movement. But around in a circle. And one thing I want to say about the circles, whether it's a hip circle, or a head circle, or a torso circle, it's more of a circle in the front, and it's more of an arc in the back. And that's to protect your back from being injured. So you make those nice big circles. Your torso is still, but your weight is going from foot to foot as you move your hips around in a circle. Now, of course, if you do a large circle, you can also do a small circle. This one engages the core even more. So you're going to go to the front, to the side, the back, and around. And you're barely moving your knees, but your weight is shifting from foot to foot. And you can go the other way. And if you have a belt on, that really helps accentuate what your hips are doing. Okay, now you've made all these lovely circles. We're going to make an even tinier circle. We're going to make a circle just on one side. Ready for that one? What you're going to do is you're going to go out to the side, to the front, and straight back with that hip. And then around. So you're doing just a circle on one side. And you go backwards. You've got great muscle control, right? It's going to feel a little awkward, but you can really feel it in your core. Now try it on the other side. Bend your knee just a little bit. And take that hip out and around. Now, if you have a circle, of course you have arcs as well. Those in just a minute. Just keep trying that little bitty circle. Just on one side, you go to the side, to the front, and back. Around to the side, you're going to the front. Now, you have all those little circles, and you can break them down even farther with arcs. So you can do just your hip on the right, front and back. You're moving your knee, and that's what you're getting your hip to go. Do it on the left. Just that, and you have all the weight on the opposite foot. And of course, you can go across the front. And you're doing this straight across. Your belt line is just straight. You are not doing a pelvic tilt. That's a whole different kind of dance. Or you can do it from the back. Do that. Do the side. Do the front. Do the other side. Now, if this all sounds familiar, and all these little parts, remember we did last time? We did a horizontal figure eight. So you're going to put those little circles together and the arcs. And you're going to go around on the right, and then on the left. Around, and all you're doing is little circles, but now they're connected right through the middle. You go the other way. So you come from the back to the front. Back to the front. Now, if you want to get fancy, you can turn that on its head and get a vertical figure eight. So now you're going to be using your knees to lift and come down, a little circle, and on the other side, a little circle, but they're vertical now. And your weight is definitely shifting from foot to foot. You're making little circles that get put together into a lovely figure eight. This is also a good traveling step. You can move with this. I told you we're going to learn how to travel today. Now, everybody's with us so far? Take your breath, get a breath. You've been moving like that. So now we're going to do the vertical chest lift like last time. There's a string attached to the front of your chest. You're going to use that to pull up your chest. And now that that chest is all warmed up, we're going to do a horizontal chest circle. And it's just like doing it with your hips, only you're isolating your torso. So you go front, side, back, side, front, side, back, side, and around and around. You're going to keep your shoulders down. So up here by your ears is not attractive. Now try it the other way. On all of these moves, you'll find that sometimes it's easier in one direction than the other. And if you're dancing a solo, you just do it whichever way you like best. If you're dancing with a troupe, obviously I don't do it as well that way. So we're going to go back this way. Because I feel much more comfortable going around from the right to the left. And then into the back. If you're dancing with a troupe, you really have to do it whatever way the instructions say, because you can mess up the whole troupe. And the reason you want to keep your head still, let's see if this works. You want to pretend you have that library book on your head. Like you had as a kid. Only this case, of course, is a basket of grapes. So now move your chest. All right, we'll see how long this stays on. It's kind of to one side, my manager says. Okay, so we're going to do the head slide. You're going to move your head from one hand to the other. Keep it nice and gentle so you don't hurt your neck. Now we're going to do a head circle. So you go forward and back, forward like a turtle and back, forward and back, and put that together with your sides. The other way. Now, you have three circles now. You've got your hips, you have your torso, and you have your head. Now, put those together, your hips, torso, and the head, without the basket today. Hips, torso, and head. Do what's called a corkscrew. It has nothing to do with wine. Try it the other way. Like I said, one way may work better for you than the other.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Alexa, continue music. Sometimes the help is so hard to find. If I were dancing in the Middle East, Alexa, play Greek folk music from my list.
Your playlist, Greek folk music on Amazon Music.
You know, like I said, musicians are so hard to find. And if you're dancing in a club and you're with a troupe or doing solos in a restaurant or whatever, you have practiced with the musicians and you have your little codes you have for each other, so you know, they know what you're going to be doing and you know what they're going to be doing. It works very smoothly as opposed to this hired help here. Anyway, so that's the course. Now, remember hand circles. We start with our middle finger and we go around and up. And as you move back with your head, and you take it just very gently. And this is a nice slow song from the Zulu, which works very nicely for this. You can move your hips or not. But that's just a nice hand circle. Now then, I did promise you some more music that you can use for traveling, and one of them is called a shimmy. Now what you're doing with a shimmy is you are moving your knees really, really fast, back and forth. And that makes your whole hip move. Now, if you want to move with this, first of all, get your hips going. I can't see you very well, but I'm going to assume you're doing it. Get those hips going, and lift the foot. Now, if you're doing yoga, you're used to doing moves on one foot and then the other. So you can shift. And then you can take that foot and move it forward. Or you can move back. This is great for drum solos. You can go around in a circle if you like. Stand there and look lovely. Now, if I was in a club and I was dancing to something like this, and somebody thought that, oh my gosh, this is so lovely, they would do a hissing sound. They would go. They would, of course, applaud if there's a Western audience. Oh, there's one member of my audience who's over here. Now, if I do something that they really, really like, they do what's called a zagarit, which sounds very vulgar, but it's cool. Go, and that's a signal to the dancer that you really, really like what he or she is doing. Now that you've done a little bit of shimmy, I don't know about you, but I need a drink of water. Okay, now the other step I want to teach you is also a walking, traveling step, and it's called a basic Egyptian. And take your toe forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, and the other foot, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. Now when you go forward this time, you have your right toe out and you move your hip to the left. So it's a twisting motion, then you bring your foot back. The other foot, forward and twist, forward and twist, forward and twist, and back. And so you can then move. And you can go around in a circle. You can go backwards. You can go forward.
And your music stick go.
Yeah. Now, another thing about when I dance, does anybody have any questions so far? Any moves that you need me to repeat? Everybody good? Okay. When I danced, one of the reasons I picked the song Layla for my very, very first show was that I didn't know how to sing Egyptian, Oriental dance kind of music. So I picked something I knew and had words I understood the meaning of. Part of the problem I felt with dancing is, am I dancing to something that may be religious? Am I dancing to something that might be misinterpreted? So I danced either to instrumentals or to things that were in English. Now today I'm going to dance for you because that was requested. And I picked a song that you'll hear in a moment called Haduni Haduni by George Abdu, who was a very famous Egyptian musician. And the words in this are hold me back because I might faint because of her beauty. And then it goes on from there. I actually did find a translation online, but I won't give you the whole thing. Anyway, so let's go through all of our pieces. And did I forget? No. Okay. So let's start with our good posture, and we're going to go through all the moves until the next song starts. I think that's my right song. So posture, do hip lifts, lift the hip, lift the other hip. Then hip drop. And a large hip circle. And the other way, a large hip circle. Keeping your torso still as much as possible and keep smiling. Then you're going to do a small circle. You're going to go the other way. And you can do some arcs. Just one side is moving. But you can tell by your start that it's the proper side because you've got control of that body. Then horizontal figure eights. A vertical figure eight. Standing right up on his end. And a vertical chest lift. And a horizontal chest circle. Round the other way. And then a head slide. Get those hands up there so you pretend you're trying to touch your ears to your hands. And a circle. And around the other way. And then put all of them together and do your corkscrew. First your hips, those knees bent, and your chest, and then your head. Your hips, your chest, and then your head. Okay, and you can add some hand circles even while you're doing that if you wanted to. Let's see. Level 8, Alexa, level 10. You can relax. And I will be here as Baseem.
هدوني هدوني عينيها سحروني يا دنيا فستان السهر بخبي في بعيوني هدوني هدوني عينيها سحروني يا دنيا فستان السهر بخبي في بعيوني كل ما تأشر ربي سنيني مليان الشاشة تنسيني كل ما تأشر ربي سنيني مليان الشاشة تنسيني من عالك الشباك وقفت بخير الشباك من عالك الشباك وقفت بخير الشباك كل شريك قلبي قالك نموني عندي يا صاحبي لكن الفستان سهرة في بايكوني عندي يا صاحبي لكن الفستان سهرة في بايكوني
Alexa, level 7. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do thank you for your attention.
Wonderful.
Unmute, yeah, you can unmute yourselves. I think I'll get rid of the music for this meeting. Alexa, stop.
Marianne, you were spectacular.
Well, thank you, Ms. Martha.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Baseem.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I wish I had been doing this all through COVID. I would have lost even more weight.
So
Because
now,
it does tire one out.
so now you can see why I married her.
Oh, absolutely.
There was never any doubt, Cheryl.
Well, it was interesting because on our very first date, he said, would it bother you if I told you I was a chaplain? And I said, well, only if it bothers you that I haven't been to church in a really long time. and so we're getting along just very fine. We're at Old Ebbitt Grill having dinner. And then I figured, I know what my hobby is. He's a chaplain. I don't know if this guy's square or not. So I guess I better get this. I like him. I guess I better get this straight out in the beginning and say, by the way, my hobby is Middle Eastern dance. And he said he did a mental hua, which for those of you who are not military oriented is a very positive expression. So,
In the army.
in the army. Yeah, John and Kip are both Air Force. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope that it's inspired you to ask questions about the dance, the costume, anything you like.
I'd like to say that, I haven't seen too many belly dancers, but you looked easily as talented as any of the professionals that I've seen.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Well, I did take classes with dancer over there in Clinton for about 10 years. That time that I was between husbands, and and so it was one of the best things in the world for regaining my self-confidence, about feeling good about being a girl, about life, about making lots of female friends. It was just a wonderful time. And then, as I said before, you know, we danced overseas some. And anyway, it's great. And I have danced at restaurants. One of my friends,
And recitals.
in recitals and shows, I talked about that, but we did dance at restaurants because there was a restaurant, I think it was from Crete, people from Crete, down in White Plains down there south of Waldorf, where one of my girlfriends danced every Saturday night. Well, she would invite some of us to come in and dance. And, you know, she got paid, we got some tips, that was great fun. We danced, they had a little pre-recital at a Greek restaurant in Alexandria. We were the kind of the warm-up show. We not young, but we knew dancers. And then the professionals came in later, and that's when all of the Middle Eastern people came in to see, you know, their favorite girls dance. And there were a couple other places we danced too, including, what was it, Morocco, down in Marrakesh, down in DC. So we got some practice, and it's just a fun hobby. So, but I'm glad to entertain you and to show you a little bit about what it's about.
Well, trying out the various maneuvers certainly enhances your appreciation as a spectator.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Because some of those girls, I mean, they do these wonderful undulations. I didn't teach you that because I'm not very good at it. But they're all kinds of things. But most of these women,
I could make a comment, but I won't.
but most of these women in the Middle East, they grow up doing it from the time they're a little kid. You know, they're watching their mom and their grandmom and all that, and their aunts. So
Yeah, and when after we met, and she was still with Dancer over there, I got to go to the shows, and I became their unofficial photographer. And you know, it was really a difficult job, but somehow I stepped up to it.
that meant that Shalimar, my teacher, always gave him a front row seat. The first show he took a lot of backs, but then he got used to the timing and such, and could get front shots and very nice shots. So,
You know, that costume, I
Yes.
think was better than the last costume as far as being able to see you and see what you're doing. And
oh, good. Well,
It's so beautiful.
Madeline had said she had a problem when she watched the video last time because the background is so dark, and that was nighttime, but there's not that much more light here today because it's a cloudy day. Yeah, those are my two costumes that I have remaining, Cindy. So, but in case you don't realize it, now if I were in the Middle East, I would not have pantaloons on underneath this, but I do have, you know, I do have on a kind of a lacy t-shirt because I really didn't want my bra showing like the ladies in the Middle East would have done. I want to keep it a little bit more discreet for the church website, which is how I dance too. I always wore something. And our teacher said, you either wear pantaloons or you wear dance pants so that just in case your skirts fly up, nobody is seeing your real underwear. That may be too much for you guys to take in, but you gentlemen, but anyway, that was one of her rules. She had a lot of strict rules about how we act with decorum, how we don't do pelvic tilts like a lot of the high school cheerleaders do. You know, that's just not part of the dance. You can do a tilt, but it's going to be on the side. It's not going to be in the middle. So to be very graceful, to be very feminine, because it is to show off your curves. And guys have some good curves too, remember, gentlemen. So anyway.
I think I should stick with the lawnmower repair.
You're going to stick with lawnmower repair? Okay, John.
Oh, come on, John. I think you'd be great at this.
Hey, yeah, like Aziz who came out. Oh, one thing I didn't talk about last time was every year Shalimar would have summer camp, and it was well worth taking off 3 days from work because it would be from Wednesday to Sunday. And we would have 5 very intense days of a teacher coming from out of the area. to teach us the dance. We had one lady come even from Germany one time. So we would work our butts off for the 5 days, learning new moves, learning different kinds of choreography. Then we would do a in-house dance show recital one night of it, or Friday night. But then on Sunday afternoon, we would do one that the public was invited to. And our venue was always, like I said last time, the American Legion over there in Clinton. And that was a great way to lose weight over 5 days, because by the end of that, you were just absolutely exhausted.
See, I think that you participants in this last time and this time particularly now should put on a recital at the Parish Hall once it reopens.
Oh, yeah. Not,
Yeah.
not.
Count me out.
Well, anytime you want to get together, we can meet in the driveway too, and we can play. I won't wear this. I'll wear something that's a little bit less fragile. But yeah, we can play anytime you want. I'd be glad to teach you some new steps, or just practice what we're doing. Any of it, that'd be great.
Sounds good.
Thanks so much, Marianne.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Great.
You're
Bravo.
welcome.
Bravo.
You're all very welcome.